I'm really convinced that Hyundai's gone absolutely nuts lately, and this is the reason why. So Hyundai has just released the all-new Elantra N, or unveiled it rather, to the world, and everybody's been expecting it for a few weeks now, but now we finally see it in the flesh, and I personally think it looks amazing, but it's just a car that nobody cares to have unless you're a pure enthusiast. And luckily, Hyundai actually pays attention to car enthusiasts alike. So now we have things like the Elantra N in addition to the Veloster N and the Kona N, which is such an oddball in today's market. So what is the Elantra N? So the Elantra N, as you guessed, is the dedicated performance version of the Elantra sedan, and it packs a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 276 horsepower, but there's an N-Gren mode which sends more boost to the motor to bring it up to 286 horsepower in this car. It's got about 289 pound-feet of torque, mated to either a 6-speed manual transmission or an 8-speed dual clutch automatic. Now, make note, the Gren shift mode is only available on the 8-speed dual clutch as of now. If they choose to update that to the 6-speed manual, call me in because I'd be super ecstatic about that. But the fun factor is still there for the 6-speed manual. Now, let's talk numbers. 0 to 60 is claimed to be at a pretty quick 5.3 seconds, according to Hyundai, and that is with using launch control or launch mode, whatever you want to call it, whatever. They have it on this car. They have it on all their other cars, and their sister brand Kia has it on some of their vehicles, especially the Stinger, the K5 GT, etc. And then Genesis has it on cars like their G70 sedan. The inside, as you would guess, looks very similar to a standard Elantra. However, you notice you got the 10.25-inch screen, digital gauge cluster. You do have the option of that 6-speed manual, so you'll definitely see a gear lever in there, or you'll see the standard automatic shift lever if you opt for the 8-speed dual clutch. If you're noticing something about their seats, it would be the fact that the letter N actually lights up. Where do you think they got that from? Well, let's take it from BMW, because BMW is known for having their illuminated, dedicated performance brand emblems in their seats, especially in their M cars. And everybody knows that Albert Biermann, who is from BMW's M division, is the one who's tuning all these cars on the mechanical side. So it's a nice touch that they have actually taken from BMW, and let me know in the comments below if there's actually other brands that do this, because off the top of my head I don't know of any, but it might be individual brands or individual options that might actually do that for you. But it is cool to see that in this car, but they are optional in sport bucket seats, which is really cool. I'm just gonna say from the get-go, the lines on this car are super aggressive and very busy, but for some reason it just works on this car. But I do love the 19-inch wheel set that comes on this car. It's very European in nature, and I think it just fits the bill on this car. If you're looking at the rear of the car, it looks pretty good. It's still busy, and everybody's very undecided on whether your Elantra looks good or bad in general. The N model doesn't necessarily bring it to another level if you're on the bad side, but if you're on the good side, I think it elevates it greatly. The exhaust tips in the back look massive, and I'm sure this thing sounds amazing considering the Veloster N sounds amazing with the crackles and pops from the factory, which is really nice. I do like the debut color. It's that bright blue that you can get on the Veloster N currently, and they debuted the Kona N in that same color, and I think it looks freaking fantastic. So let me know what you guys think of that. Overall, the pricing is supposed to be around the $30,000 mark, which for a compact sedan is a little bit on the pricier side when it comes to economy cars. However, this does bridge the gap between people who might want a Civic Type R, which is about 34 to 35 grand before any markup, or say like a Civic Si, a Volkswagen Golf GTI, or if you even want a Jetta GLI, you know, vehicles in that kind of segment. And some people might even cross shop it with, say, like a Kia Forte, because they have their GT trim, and maybe when the new Forte is released, they'll share the same components. Who knows? That's undecided for this time being. But the Elantra N is definitely bridging that gap between the Honda CTR and pretty much everything else in its class, which has low 200s kind of horsepower rating. So I'm very curious to see what kind of buyer take we're going to have for the Elantra N, because this is actually a worldwide unveiling for the car. But I'm also very curious to see what the take is going to be for the transmission of choice, because they're going to offer the manual and they're going to offer the dual clutch. And speaking of the transmission, it is known that it's got an electronic limited slip differential, which is really cool. And then on top of that, apparently it's got the same kind of drive axle as some of Hyundai's rally cars, which is actually really, really cool. So I'm curious to see how that technology plays into the handling of this vehicle. So we just got to wait for this thing to hit dealerships' lot, because this thing is going to be one hot car, and I think it's going to bring a lot of enthusiasts together. And I think people are going to start respecting the Hyundai Kia Genesis group for not only an economy brand but also a performance brand alike. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below.